Was there ever a cat so clever as magical Mr. Mistopheles? Hi everyone. I don't need these. Okay. I honestly don't know what to say about this. I had an idea in mind, and I was gonna be like, hey, this is a good idea. Let me run you through the thought process here, and let me give you what was to be a great idea until I saw Cats, and it ruined everything. Alright? So here was the idea. I thought, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. It's gonna be my final video of the decade. It's gonna be a good one. I'm gonna go and see Cats because I know nothing about cats in any way. I know nothing of the animal, I know nothing of the play, or the music, or any other adaptations that there have ever been of cats. I don't know nothing at all. And I thought, you know what? A lot of my friends have been talking about how kind of goofy and silly and weird the 2019 Tom Hooper film is. I got an idea. I'm gonna go see that movie, Cats, and I'm gonna go into it blind, not knowing anything about it, and I'm gonna see if I can glean what the stage play would be about and what it would be like just from only watching the movie. What is it like to be somebody who is unfamiliar with this franchise going into that film? Okay, that's a good idea. That was a good idea because this can be like, I mean, people put videos on YouTube of all the time of a person who knows nothing about something watches a thing, and I was like, shit, I can do that. I was like, I've been doing that for years, basically. So, and then I saw Cats, and then I saw it, and yeah, Cats is why alcohol was invented. That's why. I figured it out. I'm onto your game, Andrew Lloyd Webber. You made Cats to further the sales of alcohol across the country. I'm on to you, sir. I'm on to you, Tom Hooper. What is Cats about? About 109 minutes. I'm kidding. Cats is about the titular animals singing and dancing and explaining to the audience in sometimes indirect and sometimes direct ways of what cats are like. The only way you could get a more perfect look into the behavioral patterns and the just day-to-day lifestyle of cats is if this movie should have had David Attenborough. It's as close to a documentary film as you're gonna get. It taught me a lot about how cats act and how they're magical creatures, they're spiteful creatures, they're vaguely humanoid, they dance, they sing, they are anal retentive, spiteful, mean at times. Yeah, that's what I got, and they're all, and every single thing that they do, every single task that they perform is as if it were taking place at either the beginning, middle, or end of an intense orgy. Theater-like Cats, I feel like that's still kind of niche. Maybe I'm wrong, I haven't looked into it too much, but I would think that something like Cats would have a very niche audience. And if you're trying to make a movie, obviously with how high the budget was, especially for Cats, I don't have the exact number in front of me. I'm sure I could put it up on the screen if I feel like editing later some text, because you know how hard text editing is. I know the budget was something crazy, though, where it was high enough to where you would expect with that sort of a budget that the people who are responsible for putting this film together, their goal would be some sort of wide reach. You know, they want to make money off of this movie, obviously, and you'd think with its high budget, they're anticipating reaching a rather large audience. And I would think, if your goal is to reach a large audience, perhaps bring Cats to a new audience who is unfamiliar with the material, you would want to make it, not accessible, but you would want to make it to where you at least have an idea of what the point of everything is. The reason why you have a musical at all, why characters sing in a movie, is because the idea is that the emotions that they're trying to get across are too intense and too specific for the spoken word, so they sing a song about it because that is what allows you to get all of the emotions out. You sing and you dance because there's all of these emotions that you want to get out. But in Cats, I didn't feel at any point like, with the exception of a couple of songs, I didn't feel like any of them were really expressing an emotion other than, and this isn't even an emotion, they're just telling you who they are. It's like, I am Mr. Mistopheles, that is who I am, and my character traits are that I am clever and I am a magician. And then you have the other cats, I'm gonna struggle to remember some of their names, but the Rum Tum Tugger, who's played by Jason Derulo, his song is about how he's weird and how he doesn't, like, do anything. Like, he defies convention, which is fine. He's telling us who he is, he's giving us his character, but what emotion is being... The only emotion that's coming out from this is just, okay, that's who he is. He's singing a song about who he is. It's not... He's not talking about what he wants. He's not talking about where his goals are or anything like that. We're just learning... We're not learning his motivation. We're just learning who he is. And that's the case for all of them. I feel like every single one. There's... what was the railway cat? Scrimble McDimbles or whatever his name was. Obviously, Mr. Mistopheles, Rum Tum Tugger. Old Deuteronomy's song is just explaining who she is. Who are the Mango Joe and Rumpelteazer? Damn, look at me. But if you go to a stage production of Cats, you're probably going because you want to see the act of performing is enough for you. You want to see performers perform the dances and seeing people do cat-like motion is very impressive. The amount of muscle a core muscle control that is required to move in the way that they do in the stage play, I have to assume is very impressive stuff. And to be focused on that specific very intense style of dance, and to also be singing, and to also be acting, and to also be getting forward a plot, I feel like that is impressive on its own, and that's probably, if I were to see Cats, that would be why. Alright, let me tell you the plot. So the plot is that there is an old cat, a jellicle cat, which whatever, you can throw some jargon at me and I'll just suspend my disbelief that the jargon is important. The cats are jellicle, and I guess that just means they're humanoids and wear fursuits, which is fine. So the jellicle cats, they meet up once a year, and I don't know if she's just the oldest jellicle cat or she's just an old jellicle cat, called Old Deuteronomy, is played by Judi Dench. She picks one every year, and that becomes the jellicle choice. And the cat who is the jellicle choice dies. I'm assuming just a popularity contest, like whoever Judi Dench likes the best gets to go up in a hot air balloon and suffocate. And I mean, I guess the idea of reincarnation for a cat, I guess that's an interesting take, but why do they want it? Like, the bad guy is Idris Elba, and his name is McCavity, and he kidnaps the other contestants, but is everyone a contestant? Like, he says he's kidnapping the other contestants, so he kidnaps Rebel Wilson, I can't remember her character's name, it was an early song in the movie. Bastopher Jones is James Corden, and then Ciaran McKellen's cat. They get... Gus, that's Ian McKellen. They get kidnapped by McCavity and are guarded by one inept guard. And McCavity says he's kidnapping them because he wants to be the jellicle choice. He wants to be reincarnated, but he's so powerful and they don't explain, like, what his motive is for wanting that, that I don't know why he wants that. Why would he want to be reincarnated? He's got it pretty good. Like, he's got loyal followers who do whatever he says. He's got magical catnip that can subvert everyone to his will. And he can teleport people. What does he need to be reincarnated for exactly? And he doesn't even really do anything that bad. I mean, yeah, he drugs them all. I guess that's not nice. And he's a bit of a prick, but he only threatens to kill Judi Dench once she's like, you'll never be the Jellicle choice, McCavity. And he's just like, I'll make you walk this plank. And he's just like, he tells his guard, make her walk the plank. He's like, give me what I want, or you're going to go in this water. And Judi Dench gets teleported away by somebody else, so it's all fine. And the Jellicle choice ends up being somebody who's had it rough, man. And she sings a song about how rough she has it, and Judi Dench is so moved that she goes, you're the Jellicle choice. It's like, but she wasn't a contestant. The entire movie they were talking about Grisabella. They're like, oh, riff-raff, street rat, we don't want that. You're not a good cat now. Ultimately, at the end of my experiment, which was, what even was it again? Oh yeah, could anybody glean anything about the stage play from watching the movie? No. Does it make you want to watch the stage play, having not seen it before? No. I mean, because what I really gathered from this is that the source material is probably pretty weak. I feel like this is, with how, it's only a couple hours long, and it just kind of moves, it moves at a pretty steady pace. Like, the second one song's over, a new character is kind of standing on the fringe and walking on screen, and they're like, oh, this person is here, how would you like to sing a song? Or a scene is ending with McCavity capturing them, or they're just transitioning from scene to scene to scene, and it moves so fast, and it's so, like, there's so much whiplash going on in this movie, but even still, I feel like it is a faithful adaptation of what already exists, and because of that, because I feel the plot is so weak, and the characters are weaker, I don't think I would ever go out of my way to see Cats in any other form. But I will say that I'm glad I saw Cats in the form I saw it in, because I was endlessly entertained just watching this mess on screen of just terrible CG. Like, it's like jib-jab. Like, you remember the Elf Yourself stuff that always pops up on Facebook around this time of year? That's what it reminded me of. Like, I felt like they were just like, alright, Jason Derulo, Judi Dench, Ian McKellen, we're going to take a picture of your face and we're going to superimpose it onto these monstrosities that have already been made. And they're so weird, because this movie is so overtly sexual, with such hypersexualized movements and heavy breathing and the way they all writhe around, and at the same time they're so sexless because their cat suits are just that. They're just suits, and you're always aware that none of it is real, and there is no suspension of disbelief because you're constantly seeing things that take you away from it. Like the feet constantly existed on the top layer of everything. Like, obviously this whole movie's made in a computer because, like, they make the cats smaller than their environment, and I don't know what it was about maybe the green screens or the motion capture they used, but man, did it not translate feet well, because their jerky movements with their feet, outside of Stimple Skitsmas or whatever, the railway cat, his is the only feet that come across right, because he's wearing, like, tap shoes. But anybody where you can, like, see toes and individual toes, like, they exist on the layers kind of improperly. Like, they move, they're kind of janky. And I was just like, oh my god, the CG in this movie is terrible. The cockroaches and the mice, it all just looks so bad. It looks so bad. That's the thing, this is the most horrible looking movie of the year. I'm glad I saw it, but it was bad. I don't want to see it again. I'm all set with what I did see, and thank heavens that they made this, because man, what a great way to ring in a new decade. So thank you very much. That's Cats.